Hello, welcome to this week's one card reading. So how this is going to work is you're going to sit, view this card and find out what stands out to you in the card. It could be one thing, it can be several things. Just let it come to you, don't overthink too much. Just let it come to you what stands out in the card, and I'll be back in a moment to explain why that will be. So this is the card of the key, and it is a magnificent one indeed. The colour gold in general is that of divine protection and also one of material wealth too. So if you're drawn to the key, this is going to be an epic time for you over the next week indeed, and stretching out all over through the next few weeks. The card of the key is one that represents unlocking things, obviously. We're finding the answers to our questions that we seek. So if you're drawn to the key itself, it's finally being able to have resolve in situations, finally able to see the answers that have been sort of clouded before. So if you've been in a situation where it seems like you're not sort of getting your head above water and you're sort of just trying to get up there, then finally light will come to you, which is a great thing indeed. So this is a key to happiness, it's the key to career, it's the key to relationships, it's the key to freedom, it's being able to breathe finally. And a lot of the times we sort of find ourselves stuck in a rut, and every day we're like, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and finally get ahead, and then something happens the next day where you're either unmotivated or something happens and you just drag back to, it's sort of like Groundhog Day basically. So if you're drawn to the key, that desire is there to move forward, and you'll be given that platform to succeed and to thrive and to really push forward, which is a fantastic thing to have indeed. So that key, if you're drawn to the big whopping key in the front, expect change to happen, and finally the light will be shone upon your situation to make the path a little bit easier to see instead of sort of feeling around in the dark. If you're drawn to the gemstones in the top of the key, this is the colour teal, which is that of blue and green mixed together. So blue is the colour of communication, green is the colour of healing and unconditional love. So I would strongly recommend spending time with each of your loved ones in your life and making sure that they're all right, and making sure they're all right with you and what's going on. Sometimes when we have large families, a person can get neglected or feel neglected, but they won't say anything. So it's important that you have to reach out. You have to be the one to reach out to them and just check if they're okay without sort of going, are you okay? Just to touch base basically. And especially for those in our family that are children, and especially those who are in old age. So if you've got someone in a home or in aged care who haven't spoken to or seen recently, now's the time to call them. Especially around this Valentine's Day too, if they're alone, if they're an elderly person. A lot of people in homes obviously have dementia and Alzheimer's, but our soul seems to remember the energy of dates. So sometimes if you've lost a loved one, the years following that, you may not even realize the date or around that time, but you may feel down at the time that they first went to hospital, or when they first became sick or diagnosed, and you're like, why do I feel like this? And then if you backtrack, you'll find that there is sort of synchronicity with the timing, and it's like a soul imprint. It's like it's quite unexplainable, that energy. But when we have people that have dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that, they still feel those feelings, so they're not void of that. So it's an important time probably over the next couple of weeks to touch base with them, bring them something nice, even if they don't know who you are. It's the moment. It's that moment that counts. It's not, will they remember? It's that moment. So moving on, if you're drawn to the flower, the beautiful rose inside the cage, this is the image of romance, obviously. Red is always that colour of passion and drive. And as we see, it's inside this cage and the door's open. This is all about trust, and not being controlling too, and not being controlled. We see that cage door open and this rose sitting there, so it's an all trusting relationship. So this shows an understanding relationship where you can trust the other person and they can trust you, and you can just go out and know that you're safe with them, as long as you don't have blatant signs that are showing you that otherwise. This is a great sign for for being free in a relationship. So if you're in a relationship that you need to break free from, we see that too with that door open. But all in all, when we see that rose there, it shows, you don't need to be locked in a cage to have that relationship flourish. So if you're in a relationship and you're the controlling one, just chill out, relax, and let it go. Let go and let God, because if you're with somebody that you don't trust, then you shouldn't be with them in the first place. So just have faith in a relationship, because if you're looking over your shoulder all the time, it's not going to end well. So just be, and have enough confidence in yourself that person wants to be around you for you. And once you start being weird and start being controlling, then it's all going to go to hell. So we don't want that to happen. So just have faith that you're a good enough person for people to want to be around, and not have to pursue the suitor that you're interested in. That's the worst thing you could possibly do if you're seeing this rose. Do not chase the suitor, the male or female of interest. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be controlling. That's the worst thing you can do. If you're drawn to the cage itself, again, that door is open. It's about freedom. It's about finally finding your wings so you can fly out of the cage. No bird wants to be in a cage. So it's that freeing energy that you can finally become aligned with who you are. A lot of people say that they've lost themselves along the way. They haven't lost themselves. They just haven't spent time to get in touch with themselves, and that can only just take a second, just by doing the thing that you love. So make sure that you spend time with yourself too, and finding your zen and finding your bliss. If you're drawn to the background, this beautiful warm sort of brown colour, this is very grounding. So expect a very solid time over the next couple of weeks. This is a beautiful colour. I'm a Taurus, so I love earthy colours. And it's a sensible, sane colour. So it's not a time to be making rash or whimsical decisions and impulsive things. It's about being sensible and being logical about the situations and opportunities that are coming to you. Don't go silly, basically. This is not the time to be blowing money and doing anything that, a person that doesn't have a lot of sense would do. So just be sensible over the next couple of weeks. Hold the money tight and close. Put it in a savings account. You don't want to spend it. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. We see this link with the 8 down the bottom. If you're drawn to the 8 and the diamond, the 8 is a magnificent number of luck, especially for the Chinese. It is a number that's sought out by the Chinese on license plates. They go, crazy for 8. So it's a wonderful number of prosperity. Also, if we spin it on its side, it represents the symbol of infinity. We also see that the diamond suit is there, which represents prosperity. So this is not a time, even if money does come in, which it may very well do, don't blow it. Because what's going to happen is if you blow the money, you're going to have a big hole in March, and you're going to have to sort of dig your way back out again and go, oh, well, where's it all gone? So we don't want to have that kind of activity at all. If you're drawn to the 33 up the top, this represents the next 6 weeks. So this solid, stable, freeing energy is, happening over the next sort of month and a half, which is really excellent to have indeed. And it's a beautiful card, and it's quite, sensible in its design. When we look at it, it is what it is. It's nothing mystical, whimsical about it. If you're drawn to that starburst, the shine on top of the cage there, that is indeed one of sort of a light in the dark. So you'll be shown signs along the way over the next week that will light your path, that will allow you to be enlightened and illuminated from within. You'll know, and you'll see signs from around your environment too. So it's sort of like blatantly sticking out. There'll be a sign there to go, this is where you need to go. And you go, what am I supposed to be doing? Look for the signs. They're going to be there. If you're drawn to this little spark, it's like, if this is a bit nerdy of me, but if you play video games, or if you've got a child that plays video games, you'll know perhaps that objects within the games, many of the role-playing games, shine when you can interact with them. And it's very much like that you just need to look around your environment when you're seeking answers, and just look for that that thing that lights up. It may not obviously light up like a starshine thing, but it's something you're very drawn to that gives you that guidance. It's really embarrassing to me. I've said this before to a client, and it's kind of like that Michael Jackson video clip where he's walking along the sidewalk, the footpath, and the squares are lighting up. It's sort of like that. It's sort of like as you step, something else will, present itself to you, so you know you're going in the right direction, just like Michael did. Not with that end result though, obviously, but the idea is the same. It's the external environment leading you to the path that you need to be on, and just being very sensitive and aware intuitively about that too. So that's your reading for the week. It's an epic card, and one of great prosperity, security, and having faith in your own self. It's not about self-doubt at all. The key is a magnificent one that most people would just love to have in readings. So I hope you enjoyed that. Do not forget to join our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/free weekly readings. And every time we get another 100 members, I give away a private free reading to one of the members there. There's that. There's also decks of cards that I give away. It just goes on and on and on. If you want to learn the tarot, I also have a tarot group semester opening up in July this year. That will be the water group. So this is the third group that I'm taking through this magnificent course of learning the tarot. If you want to do it for yourself, if you want to do it for a job, it's a very fantastic way of learning, and it stops people from drawing cards and having to refer to a book. It's just, we don't do that. We don't roll that way. We learn all via the symbology of the card, which makes it really easy. Learning through text and things like that is quite difficult. We're very visual learners by nature. We're shown things, we see things, and it's easier for us to remember that way. So if you're interested in that, it's totally free for this semester in July. All you need to do is grab a deck of the Rider-Waite cards, and I'll just put a link in this below so you can chase that down if you're interested, because it's totally free, so it's just epic. And that's it. So make sure that you join that Facebook group. Telling you now, you want to get in on that action, I can tell you. And that's it for this week, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit my main page, which is facebook.com/Christine Louise Official, which is the new page, which has just been merged, which is just fantastic. And we do prayer night every night now, and just so much more stuff that it's just blowing everyone's mind. So thank you so much for listening and choosing me as your reader this week. Until next time, have a lovely week. Until next week.